Pixar Month. Today on Cinema in Review, we're going to be taking a look at what is, in my opinion, one of the best superhero movies ever made. The Incredibles. Going on to what we normally do, we're going to take a look at the advancement first and then move on to the movie. The advancement that The Incredibles did to the CGI film industry is that it advanced what people looked like. If you remember what Andy looked like in the original Toy Story, he seemed very rubbery, almost like a doll, very fake looking. Because the central focus, the main characters, aren't inanimate objects or animals, but people, Pixar had to endeavor to make their human characters very lifelike, being able to express a great deal of emotion, but also still have a very cartoony feel. They couldn't cross the uncanny valley. And they succeeded very well with The Incredibles. Many of their movies nowadays focus a lot more on human characters, and it's all thanks to The Incredibles. But what about the movie itself? How does the movie The Incredibles stand up? As you could probably guess by the intro, I think it's probably one of the best superhero movies ever made. But Joe, in a world with the Avengers and the Dark Knight and the original Tim Burton Batman, The Incredibles is a great superhero movie? Yes! Essentially, the concept behind this movie is superheroes are now against the law. It's a very realistic look at what would happen in a country as crazy as America. People start suing superheroes for damages. In response to this, the government makes it illegal to be a superhero. So they create programs to hide superheroes away. And so we end up following one particular family of superheroes, the Incredibles, as they try to deal with them still being superheroes but not being allowed to do it. It's probably one of Pixar's most mature movies. It deals with a lot of really dark and very cold themes. For example, we see several characters die in this movie. Or if we don't die, it's implied or we see their skeleton. There's also a subplot of infidelity, which you wouldn't normally expect in a family movie. But that's really what I have to say, is that this really is kind of a Pixar movie that, while it is a family movie, it is somewhat centered more for adults. Not a whole lot, but just enough that adults can get into it just as much as kids. So the story is very good. Now we need to move on to the character. In my opinion, all superhero movies are character studies. Because the whole central part of what makes a superhero is what makes them tick. Their character. The Incredibles gets the characters in its movie down pat. The characters in The Incredibles are extremely deep and extremely unique. We have characters like Frozone, who's very comedic, but he also has this very mature streak about him, which makes it a very nice contrast to Mr. Incredible. The kids have their own unique characteristics, even the baby. And the kids are actually performed very well. Pixar was able to get some very good, very mature child actors to voice them. Thank you. But where this movie really shines is the villain. I swear, Syndrome is probably the most complex villain in any Pixar movie ever. He also probably dies in the most graphic way of any Pixar movie. But his plan is very dark, and it's a very intelligent way to get revenge. Because his plan is essentially a revenge fest, but it's handled in such a way that it's unique, and it actually shows a great deal of intelligence and depth to this character. He's not evil for the sake of being evil. And there's also quite a bit of tragedy to his character when you find out why he became a supervillain. He's handled very well, and I think Syndrome is what probably pushes this movie over the edge for how great their characters are. So The Incredibles has a great story, a great impact on the industry, and great characters. It's not my favorite because there's just a few more that I'm more emotionally connected to, but as a movie on its own, it's probably Pixar's best. I say this is a definite must-own. You must have this in your collection if you're any kind of superhero fan, or if you're any kind of animation fan. Actually, if you like movies in general, I'd say you should get The Incredibles. So please remember to like and subscribe to this video, and I hope to see you guys next time on Cinema in Review, where we will be continuing on with Pixar Month.